Okay, so we started with cat, or we looked at how we can redirect the output from the ls command into the cat command. Okay, so I think this is what we did. Just zooming in. Okay, so we had a couple of files, so we have a couple of files here. So what I did was just type in ls and then pipe in the results to cat, and then we realized we were able to have these things here. So it looks like it didn't do the cat job here, but when we say maybe cat everything, then it's going to try and then read everything, but the ones that are folders can't be read using the cat command, but then the files can be read using the cat command. Okay, so what we did the last time was just to redirect all output into dev now, where so all errors into dev now. Okay, by using this descriptor here. Okay, so that is how we're able to use the cat command. Okay, so let's look at grep. Okay, so grep is like search. Okay, it's like we're using grep to search for something in, let's say in like an output. Okay, so we use grep whenever we want to maybe query for specific strings or specific items. Okay, that is when you use grep. Okay, there could be other commands or other tools that can do the work, maybe like can do like normal search. Okay, grep is also very powerful in a sense that it has all these features you can use to search for stuff. Okay, so you can add some form of like regular expressions where you can actually restrict, or let's say make your output more verbose than just getting a generic output. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to pipe your output into grep. You can type in maybe grep um, file and then do this, and it's just going to find the word file in everything here. Okay, let me just start again. So grep is like search or find. Okay, so you type in grep and you're like, okay, grep, I want you to search for the word file, and you could have specified the file or folder, but since we are just here, I use the asterisk to mean that search for the word file in everything in our current location here. And if you look at these text files here, right, when we did the ls command and then we used the cat binary to serve as the second command, the word file appeared in two different places. Okay, which is actually one in file 1 and then file 1.0.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but are you presenting? Because I'm not seeing anything.
You
Or
can't
you
see
are
my
just
screen.
giving us the theoretical part.
No,
You are not
I'm
physically.
sharing my screen. I don't know if you can see it because my screen is being shared.
I don't think I'm the only one not seeing it.
Can you all see my screen? Fatima and then Georgina, then Dominic, can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
Coming. So I'm gonna like stop sharing. So now I've stopped sharing. I'm just going to share it again just to see if Stone God screen on is going to come. So let's go to share. Um, Let me just share like only Kali and see. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, please.
Alright, good. So as I was saying, okay, so once we run the ls and then we send the results, we pipe the results to cat, and then we redirect all errors to the dev now file here, right? We'll be able to see the content of the text file, so one here and then two extra files here have this content here. Okay, now when we use grep, we could say cat everything. So the asterisk means all. Okay, so cut all is just like what we are doing here. Okay, cut all here, right? And then we can say maybe we pipe the results to grep, and then we say file. Okay, then since the cut is going to try getting everything here, it's just going to do what we did the first time, like cut, right? Then the grep command is going to search through the results for the word file here. So you realize it found the word file in these two lines here. Okay, in these two lines here. And I'm saying that you don't necessarily need to actually pipe the results to grep. Okay, you could just say grep file, and then you say all, or like everything from. So this is like the location where you want to grep or find the word here. Okay, then you hit enter, and then you will be able to find the result. And then with this one as well, you realize that there are standard errors, so you can also redirect the standard errors to this dev now here, and then you end up getting the only valid ones here. Okay, yeah, so we can do a whole lot of things with the grep like I showed you in the regular expression session. So you could search for regular expressions and then read about regular expressions and then use them to like make your search more verbose or more specific. Okay, so for instance, I'm sure maybe some of you have, for some reason, maybe in an email field, you type something like maybe your username like this, and then you hit enter, and then it will tell you that it needs to be an email. Okay, most of the times it's doing front end validation, so most of the time the front end validation has something like looking like this, uh, so it will be like maybe A to Z. I don't know how the email something looks like, but it's something like this, and then they will say that it has to have the @ sign. I mean, there's actually a way it's done. Okay, but then there's regular expressions that is used to do that restriction or that limitation. So when you search for regular expressions on the internet or on the web, you should be able to see something similar. Let me check if I have connectivity. Yeah, so I think I can search from the browser here about regular expressions. Alright, so I don't know, the thing went off. Yeah, it went off. So where did I drop off, so that I can maybe continue from there? Hello, where did I drop off?
The last thing I saw you type was A to Z, the email validation thing.
Oh, okay, so at least it was like current, right? So yeah, so I think it wasn't that far. Can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
Alright, great. So what about Fatima then? How is Fatima here twice? This thing to for you. Roxanne will come and meet you here. Anyways. Wait, what? Okay, so let's continue. So I was trying to search for regular. I think this is regular. I mean, anyways, let me search for regular. I think it's supposed to be just 2s. Regular expressions, right? We would see them. Okay, so it looks like this format here. Let's try this one here. And you can also like read on the from Wikipedia about regular expressions. Okay, so you could actually learn about it. It's kind of interesting. Okay, yeah. So insert your regular expressions. Yeah, so if you are able to, so what this one does, it's able to explain to you what a particular expression means. Okay, yeah. Then I don't know. I think this here, I don't know what this one does. I'm looking for, there was one that had most of the expressions. Yeah, it's here, cheat sheet. Yeah, so this is how like regular expression stuff looks like. Okay, so when you have it in bracket, it means like everything here, so it means any of A, B, or C. And then with the XOR, that thing that points to the top means not A, B, or C. And then with the A to G means characters between A and G. And then A, B, and then dollar sign means starting from here and ending here. So it means it should start with A and then end with C. Then if you have the backslash B means it's a word, backslash capital B means not word boundary. I mean, like, yeah. So once you are able to get the understanding of regular expressions, it makes the whole thing a bit easier. So let me check again if I'm here. All right, so I'm here. Yeah, so let's see. So there is a file in okay, there are some files on the system, right? I'm just going to look for a word from the file. So let me look what word, like let's search for the word downloads from here. So I can say maybe grep downloads, and I specify the path I want to get the search from. Okay, so like user share word list deb, let's just use common dot txt, right? I mean, this is not this file actually exists. Okay, this path exists. If you don't know about this path, don't worry, because you don't know about it, but it's there. You can just look at it as it I've typed it and then type it. But when you start using some of these things, you would actually be aware of them. Okay, so you realize when I search for the word downloads inside this file, there are only two occurrences of the word download. Okay, but I can use the regular expression to limit the beginning and then the end by just saying it should start with a D. Okay, so I put this one there. When I hit enter, now our response that just comes with 1. The response is just 1 because the second one, even though has downloads in the word, it doesn't start with a D because this one means it's starting with a D. And then if I had put the dollar sign here, it will mean that ending with an S, so it means it should match this exact thing here. Okay, so that's like a match. Okay, yeah, so that is how like regular expressions work. I mean, that's very powerful if you understand them. Some reason I don't understand them. I'm not a god at regular expressions. So yeah, is that a question? Yes, OTT.
Please, are you the one who typed the file path in addition to the command,
Yeah,
or once you type the command, it comes with it?
no, I typed the file path.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, so that was that one here. So grep, you can use it for like multiple things. Okay, yeah. So I think it's either in your Pico, your cyber talents, you actually use grep in one of the lessons under cyber talent. Yeah, so this is not all you can use grep to do, but this is where we'll end our grep lessons. So we'll just use it to like search for certain things and then probably add some weird characters called regular expressions to get more results. Okay, so any question? Any question? Any question? And if does anyone have a question before we move on to the next one, the WC command? Any question?
I suppose everybody's
Alright, so if there are no questions, then we move on to the WC command. Okay. So the WC command is for counting a couple of things. Okay, it can be used to count the number of lines, the number of characters, and then the number of words in a given file. Okay, so let's say you have a file and then you've been asked to count the number of words in the file. Do you have to open the file and then count it line by line, or open the file and scroll to the last line to check the number of lines in the file? I mean, it's all up to you. Okay, but Linux says, hey, there is a command called WC. Okay, that can be used to do that. So this is just how it's used. Okay, so you can use it to print the number of characters, the number of bytes characters. I mean, it's kind of confusing why C is for byte and then M is for characters. Who did that? Then L for lines, and then we have W for words as well. Then we have extra things here. Okay, so let's just see it in action. Okay, so you see the file I use, right? Let's this file user share word list deb common.txt, right? If you go to this side and you like cut this file, it contains some words in it. Okay, so it's just a word list. It contains some words. So this is how long the file is. Okay, it might be easier for you to like count it. Okay, it's easy for this is just some few stuff, so you can easily count it. I don't know, I've been scrolling since and it's still at B, so it's too much. Okay, but let's say you wanted to know the number of lines in this file. Okay, you could do WC hyphen L on the file. Okay, so so you could just go back like this and then say a WC hyphen L, and you should get it. Yeah, so that is how it can be used. So once you type in the WC and then you add a hyphen L for the number of lines, it just prints the number of lines for you, and then you should be good. If you wanted the number of characters, you can use that thing. I think M is for characters, yeah, and then C is for bytes, which would actually be a bit closer, if not more than, it will be less than the, yeah, so it's similar, the same. So bytes and then characters, then we have lines. Now for the number of words, also be similar to the number of lines, but I think it will be short of one or more. So I think words should be this, yeah, so it's actually more. I have 3 extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Roxanne.
Let me chip in there. So, guys, I think some people has been joining the meeting of which we don't know them. So, what I would suggest from you people is, in our coming class, that's any moment from Wednesday going, make sure you join with your official name that we have in our system. There was some list that I collected from you people. Make sure the meeting that you are joining with that any of like the name that you submitted. Because if I find out you've joined with any name that's not in the list, I'll take you out. Mm. Okay. Like on that tag. I don't know the person. So in that instance, maybe I can take you out from the page, from the call. So maybe, yeah, I don't know if you can rejoin. Some name like Luke. The Luke is familiar, I think, but the face is not that familiar. But today, I'll give you a grace period today. Make sure tomorrow when or any of our class when joining, you join with your official name. Okay. Hello guys.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Good.
please.
Let's do that exercise for ourselves. Okay. Boy, continue.
All right. So any question? Any question? Yeah, Fatima. Fatima, so if you're about to talk, I beg, open your mouth and talk.
Please, what did you say that WCU have delivered the news?
What's it saying?
Did you say that WC-WS? I didn't hear.
Mm. But are you closer to your laptop?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so type WC hyphen hyphen help in your terminal, remember? Do it right now and then let me see. What did you get? Hmm? Hurry up and then inform me about your result. Like, what did you get as your result? Alright, so if there's no question on WC, yeah, so that is what the WC mostly can be used for. Okay, so you might want to count the number of lines, the number of characters in a particular file, right? So you can use the WC to like check that thing out. Alright, then we have sort. Okay, sort enables you to just do what it says. Okay, you can sort things in some form of order. So I can just say sort, and then let's say if it has a help command. Okay, so there's a whole lot of things this sort can do. Okay, so write sorted concatenations of all file standards and all those things, right? So ignore leading blanks, dictionary order, ignore cases, general numeric, and all those things. So yeah, I was thinking they would have like an example on how to write this sorting. Let me see. Mm. Alright, so let's see something here and then see if we'll be able to figure our way out in the sort. So I'm going to create a file. Okay, I'm just going to create a file, or I'm going to use a different method to create a file. Okay, so this will actually be the introduction of a new method to create files in the terminal. Okay, so we can use a command line text editor called vi, and then just give it a file name. Okay, so this is a command line text editor called vi. So if you don't want to be doing the echo and then those things, you can just use vi, but it doesn't come pre-installed in certain systems. Okay, so you would first have to check if it's actually available in a particular system before you use it. Okay, yeah, so I type vi, then I'm going to type a couple of things. So let's say we want to list fruits, right? So I know a couple of fruits. I know of orange, I know of mango, I know of banana, no, I know of pear, I know of apple, I know of grapes. I think grape or I don't know, but yeah, then we know of straw something. Yeah. Then what else? Pineapple. I think that's purple too. And that it's easier to spell. Pine apple. I think this is also easier to spell, but let's put it at a different place. Okay, so now I have purple. I want one last fruit. Uh, uh, um, come on. Okay, so I've written orange, mango. I don't know. I don't know of any other fruits. Let's just ah E F G. Do we spell like, is it this way? Anyways, let's just keep it there. Okay. Oh come on. So I had to save the file. This way. So alright. So I just have to save the file using the I think it's kill. Yeah. So when I cut sample.txt, you should have them all inside. Okay, so I just use the text, like the command line text editor to do that. Okay, so it's just the vi I used. Okay, in case maybe you don't understand, and then when I'm done you can just ask a question about it and then we can go through it. Okay, so let's say I type in sample. Okay, and then I say probably like sort. Right, I don't know if you are seeing what's happening, but my first item here was orange, right? But the moment I pipe it to sort, it does it in this order for me by arranging everything in alphabetical order. Okay, yeah, that is by default how it's going to work. Okay, and we can also switch it out as well. I was trying to pick out from this side how we could actually switch it out. Okay, so I think there is a reverse here. Alright, so let's try it and see. And yep, we have it in the opposite direction as well. Okay, and then you can always try the other ones to see what they actually mean. So for instance, maybe dictionary order, just say this, and then you realize dictionary order looks like the first one, and you could use merge says merge already sorted files, do not sort. Okay, stabilize sort by disabling last sort. Let's just say unique. Now what unique is going to do is I think it's going to sort them and then make sure that it's actually unique. Now I've forgotten what it was using. It's actually you. Yeah, but there are no duplicates here, so probably we don't get anything. Yeah, so I mean that is how we can use the sort. Just for now, like just have like descending and then ascending order is what we did. Okay, the rest here would require you to like have certain things inside your file. So for instance, with the ignore case, you realize that in most systems, uppercase items are mostly sorted first, or let's say I always put at the top before lowercase items will come. So if you have certain things like that, you can just add it there. In they just use the hyphen f to ignore the casing. Okay, yeah. Is there a question? Yeah. OTT.
So if you are unsure about a certain command, you type that command and you add help,
Yeah,
and it will show you how to use it.
yeah.
Okay.
Any other question? Any other question? Alright, so if no one has any other question, then we are moving on to the next one on our list, which is unique. Okay, so let's see what unique also does. Okay, so I'm just going to clear my screen and then say unique hyphen hyphen help, and then you realize all the commands have some serious things, right? So hyphen c for count, but if you look at the usage, it says unique. You specify the option, the input, and then you can specify an output where I think it will probably save the results too. Okay, so you can use hyphen c to count unique lines or the number of times a particular word appeared in your file. Then you can use hyphen d or tactile repeater to print only duplicated lines, one for each group. So it's just going to print the lines that were repeated instead of printing the number of times it repeated. Okay, so that is what it does. Okay, then we can use the hyphen u to print only unique lines. I think by default this is what it's actually used. Okay, so let's make some modifications to our file. Okay, so let's just add some duplicates to it, right? So let's say apple, and let's say I think that was supposed to be guava, right? I just hope that thing is correct, right? Then let's just say strawberry and have another apple here. Okay, so I'm just going to save it, so write and quit. Alright, so clear the screen. Like I said, we don't necessarily need to pipe though. Okay, so we can do this unique on sample, and if you look at this, we have strawberry, apple, 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 and then strawberry. So the unique thing didn't give us the unique ones, right? But let's try hyphen u for unique, and it's still not giving it to us. Okay, so now let's do something on cut samples and now pipe it to unique, and you realize it's still not giving us the unique values that we were supposed to get. Okay, even hyphen u is still not what working. Let's try hyphen c and then c. Okay, so probably there is something wrong with either the text file or something else on the file. So hyphen c was supposed to be the number of times something repeats. Okay, then hyphen d was the system is supposed to print the what do you call it, the number of items that have repeated, but it looks like we can't use unique without a sort. That is how it looks like. It's looking like. Okay, so let's first do something like this, sort. Okay, so now we are able to sort it, and then let's repipe the result again to unique and see what happens. And now you realize it's clear now. I don't know if you saw it. So using the unique alone, it wasn't able to pick out or find out which items were actually duplicates. Okay, because we had apple somewhere here and then others at different places. Okay, but once we use the sort to actually arrange them in some form of order, okay, Once we use the sort to arrange them in some form of order, now when we redirected or when we sent the result to unique, it was now able to tell us or remove the duplicates from there. And at the same time too, when we use the -d, now it should print the items that were duplicated. So if you look here, the items that had multiple duplicates are 3. So apple, guava, and then strawberry. So if you look here, guava repeats twice, apple repeats 3 times, and strawberry repeats twice. If you want to know the number of times they repeated, -c should do that for us. So you realize apple repeats 3, this one repeats 2, and then this one repeats 2 as well. So remember that unique might not always work without sorting. If you don't sort it, your unique might not work. Okay. Yeah. Any question? You are good and you always understand. You understand everything. Akowa Mercy. Yeah, Oswald.
Yeah, Jeff. Now, number online class, I feel I'm a Raymond. You who are more winning.
Omudi Gaboni the video ni betum why. We were just looking at the other commands that we can use for pipe. We were just looking at the pipes and then we were looking at other commands. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anyone else with a question? Alright, so if you don't have question, then I have a question for you. So my question is, what did we just do? What command did we just learn? And how does it work? Alright, so I'll mention names, okay, so don't worry. Yeah, Akowa Mercy, what command did we just work on? Mercy Akowa Mercy. Akowa Mercy. Alright. Luke Collins. Luke Collins, what did we just learn? What command did we just talk about?
If I'm Joe, who is trying to steal my identity? Because how can you be stone god?
You yourself, you've abandoned your identity here, so. But Luke Collins, if you tell me you just joined, I'll actually have a hard time believing it because you were here when Gaboni came in, so the command we just learned is what I'm asking, which we did that after Gaboni left. So you saying say you just joined, yeah, that one is nah, it's a no. It's a no. Alright, Bismarck. Yes. What command did we just learn? I didn't say what did you hear. I said what command did we learn? Like right now, the last command we learned about, the last command Namibisa. Hmm?
Okay. So I just joined, so I don't know the name of the moment, but
Hey.
I know I supposed to be a living, so I can tell you what it is, but not command.
No, I want the
I just
last
said what
command. The last command that we learned. The last command we did. The last command we learned.
just say right now, right?
Yeah, just right now. Before Oswald was asking say Oka say oh no Sisiano joining.
Yeah. That command, I don't know. Like when I joined, you were seeing the number of times Apple and Java appeared, but I don't know what the command is. I joined
Ayo,
it about my network of helping, so I just disconnected and joined again.
ayo, matter why.
You guys should come and buy the Wi-Fi, you won't buy.
Boy, I just wish I was about going.
Anyway, so yeah. So you people are not asking questions and you are not able to answer my questions as well. So okay, so the next commands or the next ones, I think we are left with just awk and then cat. Okay, they are kind of confusing, so if you don't like pay attention to those commands, it would actually, I mean, let's just say you would end up asking like certain questions. Yeah, I think I know this person. This is what do you call it, the girl that doesn't talk, the one that Gaboni has been promoting from the group. Yeah,
Studio for JI.
yeah, that's the one. Anyway, so let's talk. So okay.
Studio for yeah, what do you mean?
Anyway, so we have cats and then so let's treat cats before awk. Okay, so the cat command works like the way cat is supposed to work. Okay, but I'm sure we've all bought bread 5 cedis before, right? So we'll be out of bread 5 cedis that. Okay, Luke Collins says it's not worth bread 5 cedis that, so probably he doesn't eat bread or he buys the full one. Okay, but when you go to buy bread, okay, and then the 5 cedis, Okona say 5 cedis in the Dahona say a full 20 cedis, and that's what person out of 5 cedis. You realize that the woman selling the bread takes the bread knife and then starts marking the bread. Okay, so she's going to mark the bread and then divide it with the marks into 4. Then cut one for you. So like you take like 5 cedis. Okay. So that is how the cut command works, or that is how cut even works in general. Okay, so if you've not bought bread before, you have divided something before. You all know how you divide things. If I think when we were in maybe primary or in SHS or like JHS, when you have a sheet of paper and you want to divide it, you realize maybe into 2 or into 3 or like let's say into 4, you just fold the paper into 2 equal sides, and then the edge is not able folding it. You make sure that it's actually, I don't know, straight or something. There's a word for it, but you straighten the something. Okay, so that when you are tearing the paper, it will become easy to tear. Or some of you use ruler. Okay, so that is just how cut works. Okay, so that thing you are using to actually set a crease, that thing you are using to set as maybe let's say a boundary, or you are using to set as a stepping stone or anything to cut, right? In the cut command you call that a delimiter. Okay, so that thing needs to be common in every place you want to cut. So if you look at the bread idea, the bread knife mark will be common on all 4 sides. So it will be common at the first side, second, third, and then I think it's just going to be 3, but eventually we end up getting 4. So you see that the bread marks will be 3 on the bread. So let's call that a delimiter. Then each section that is being cut out becomes a field. Okay, so we end up getting 4 fields or 4 divisions, and then with a delimiter, which is actually the bread knife marks. Okay, so that is how the cut command here works. Okay, so you first specify the cut command, then you specify your delimiter. So first of all, you need to be aware of the content you want to cut first. Know what actually is common in the content. If you don't have anything that is common in the content, it becomes a bit difficult for you to use the cut, because whatever you have to do, the delimiter, I don't know anything about Python, but I'm sure yes, the split is actually, you can split using like maybe wherever there's a space or something. I'm sure, yeah, something like that. Yeah, so let me go to the terminal and then let's see something. Okay, so before that, I would want to talk about 2 commands which I didn't talk about. Okay, there is a command called the head, and then there's a command called tail. Okay, so the head command is used to read the first 10 lines of any file, and then the tail command is used to read the last 10 lines of any file. You can actually specify the number of lines you want to read by actually adding a particular option, okay, which you have to search for that one yourself. But whenever you type head, it's actually going to read the first 10 lines. When you type tail, it's going to read the last 10 lines. Okay, so there is a file in the system called etc passwd here, which it's used to contain, or which contains certain information about the system. But when I type head on etc passwd, I get the first 10 lines of it. Okay, the reason I wanted to use head is because some of the systems you would have this file being very huge, and then it will actually flood the screen. Okay, so I just want the first 10 lines. Okay, now here or over here, okay, we have certain information, and then each information or each row contains 7, or let's say each row contains let's say 6 divisions with 7 fields. 6 divisions with 7 fields. Okay, so we have field 1, field 2, field 3, 4, 5, 6, and then field 7. Okay, but then the divisions, like I said, the delimiter, something that is common, is actually this one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is actually this, and then the last one is here 6. Okay, so that is going to be our delimiter. So let's see how cut works. So we can say cut, then you can just look at the help command of cut. Okay, so look at it. So we have -a for show all, number non-black, show end, number, squeeze, show table, and then all those things. Okay, I think it was supposed to, it's actually CUT, sorry. Yeah, so I was just confused what I was reading. I didn't even see the field and then delimiter in that one. Just confused, right? Yeah, so we have the delimiter, use the lim instead of tab for field delimiter. Okay, then we have fields. Okay, so I mean, it might, maybe it's English, but sometimes it's confusing to understand English, even though it's normal English. But I think when we do it, it makes it a bit simple for you to understand than reading. So let's just do the head thing again. Okay, then let's say you were asked to get only only field 1 from this file here. Okay, get only field 1. I mean, you could actually cut the entire file. Okay, you could cut the entire file and then start writing. Like I said, you see what you can cut the entire file and then knock yourself out by writing them one after the other or copying them one after the other. Okay, but I mean, laziness in tea, and I said we don't want, not laziness, we're just working smart. So we don't want to actually go through that stress. So we can use the cat command. Okay. So what we can do is we can say cat, which is actually cat. Okay. Then we can specify our delimiter by saying -d. Then we put our delimiter in quotes like this. So we want to say that the colon here is the delimiter. And then what field do we want? You want the first field. So the cut is like your bread knife, and then the delimiter is your markings. Let me check if I'm still online. Yep, I'm still here. And then the field is what you actually get as your bread. Okay, into a chart, then they give you your portion. So you want the first part, so we say 1. But that cut necessarily delimiter, and where do you want it on? You want it on the bread. So let's say this is our bread. Hit enter, and then we get only the first section. So if you look here from the first, then there is root daemon bin sys sync games man LP mail news. Same thing, root daemon bin sys sync games, and then all those things, right? Yeah. So just by doing this, we are able to get these things here and then save them to a file. Someone might ask, okay, so what is the essence of this command? Because I don't see me using this command anywhere in my life. I mean, yeah, it's true, but sometimes you end up getting a list from maybe an assessment you'll be doing, and then you get a list, or maybe you do some enumeration or some brute forcing, and then you are able to get a list that has certain things separating them, and then you need to maybe break them by space and then sort them out using certain commands, and yeah, you would end up needing this here. Yeah, either cat or awk, one of them would actually be your go-to command line too, or maybe Roxen would give you like an assignment and you have to use this one. Okay, yeah. Any question? What is this? Oh, wait, what? Oh yeah, yeah. So any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Biankasa. All right. Looks like nobody has. No one has a question. Okay. So if no one has a question, I'm good. Delimiter. I think delimiter has been explained by Cynthia, so I think that should be good. How what else do you want me to explain? So I already brought in the bread something. You were the one that said you haven't bought bread before. So what have you bought before, so that I'll use it as an example for you. Okay, I guess you've eaten pizza before, right? Luke Collins, have you eaten pizza before? Oh, so what have you eaten before? Like yachichichichew. Do you know that thing, Cosiada Franca, like that thing you? Luke Collins.
Aden nipa no ntimi nkasa na iye nyini free page ni. You will flex your body too much.
I say biscuit. So like
Oh,
what
that who is that person?
biscuits and so they actually are.